Hey there, happy Wednesday! Thanks for joining me for another craft night with friends. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits. And I'm here every weeknight, Monday through Friday at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And it's a time that we can relax and craft together. So I was gone yesterday and the day before for Labor Day, and I did one extra day there. But now we're back at it. We are going to continue on the Granny Square Quilt. We've been working a long time on this, and we are now kind of assembling the back, doing a little patchwork piece for the back. I have my project tracker here. We'll take a look at that and see if we can figure out where we left off. It has been a long time, I feel like, since we've worked on this. So I'm happy to be moving it forward another hour here. So, all right, thanks again for joining me. Let's get going. Okay, so here we are. I have the project tracker. All right, let's see what it says here. It says back, finish sewing. Okay, so I have a picture drawn out of the back, finish sewing, and I have a little comment here. I ran out of bobbin. Okay, that's why I have to finish sewing, and then I have sew last border piece to group, and then I also have another note. Cut to 55.5 inches each, may just barely have enough. I suspect that's for these border pieces. So let's actually see what we got going on here. Those are my notes. On the top was what I believe is just the rest of my scrap fabric, so I'm going to set that aside. I also had a little note in here that we drew on a piece of fabric, so I'm going to look at that as well. But I think I actually kind of redrew it on my project tracker sheet, so I'm going to go based on that. So let's dig in. What do we have going on here? Like I said, it has been a little bit of some time here. Okay, so this looks like a piece that is not sewn yet, so that's the part I'm guessing that needs to be sewn. So this is just a blue piece here. So maybe we already are working on those borders. Wait, this is super long. Okay, so this is just one giant long piece. Okay, now my notes are making a lot more sense. So back, finish sewing, ran out of bobbin, sew last border piece to group. So here's the part where I ran out of bobbin because I got half of a seam sewn. And then I think I have to sew this to here, and then I'll have a super duper duper long strip. It says cut to 55.5 inches each, may barely have enough. Okay, so we are making a super long piece here that we are going to cut to 55.5 inches each. Ooh, that might be interesting. We'll definitely have to get the iron going because we'll have to press this before just cutting it. Let's see what else is going on in here. So I suspect, so this is just like one super long piece, it looks like. But then we have these guys. Okay, so we still did not do, we did not sew together our little patchwork pieces. So we're going to have to do that yet. All right. It looks like we have everything cut out. Okay, so we're just basically completely prepping this back. We're prepping these strips before we even get going. All right, I like it. We got a plan. Let's do it. I'm going to leave that instruction sheet out. I'm just going to move this so it's out of the way, and we got a plan to continue this. So tonight I'm hoping we can do that. Let's cut these border pieces, but I would love to be able to start patchworking this piece together. So I think that is the plan tonight. All right, so let's do it. Switch to the sewing machine here. All right, so we're gonna just finish this stitch here. I did check that there was bobbin thread in now, so I'm hoping we're just fine and good to go. This isn't that long. I think I'm gonna just sew over where I left off here, or I mean, right over the top of what I got here. I think that's fine. Seems easier than just starting where I ended. All right. Continuing down the edge. man, you guys, it feels good to be sewing again. We haven't done sewing in forever. We've been working on embroidery for a while here. Okay, so we gotta find the end of this. Okay, so here's this connects here. Oh, so we have a lot of, this is coming back to me a little bit. We had a whole pile, I am gonna have to take this off. Let's grab a leader. We had a whole pile of blue that we needed to be turned into these borders, and they were all different weird lengths. Nothing worked out to perfectly get like some nice border sizes. So we had to kind of piece these together. And now we're going to press them and trim them all to that 55.5 inches. So that 55.5 inches is what we're ending up needing here. All right, so this piece, oh yeah, see, this is just like a real little piece. It was just from here to there. All right, so let's grab the next piece. So according to my notes, it sounded like it was the last piece. Let's see if that's the case. Okay, so there's no right and wrong side on this. Okay, so it is one piece. So we just have to make sure that we're sewing right sides together based on our last pieces. So here's the seam with the right side and the right side, so that the seam allowance is in the back. So we just have to make sure that our seam allowance is in the back here too, which I think we just go like so, and then we're done. Oh, okay. I feel like we started in the middle of a thing that we're finishing really quickly. So even though I know we hardly did anything tonight, I'm feeling like this is kind of a big step done after we sew this seam. It's going to be a little bit of a trick cutting all this, but we'll do our best. I do have a long ruler, but I think we'll still have to like fold a little bit and trim. But first we're going to have to press this whole thing. So pressing this is going to take a while. We're at the stage with this project where everything's just big, and so it's going to take up our space, get more cumbersome to work on, but we're going to do it here. Okay. So there we go. There's our giant border piece here. So why don't we give it a press and then, cut to the 55.5 inches. So I'm going to trust that we measured correctly when we wrote down that 55.5 inches. I'm not going to bother like totally doing that again. All right, so the iron should be warm. Oh, let me move these guys out of the way. So I just wanted to share our new embroidery of the month, and I just did a TikTok with this guy in today, or an Instagram reel, and we're going to be bringing back some of our older Halloween kits. Not older, but from last year's Halloween. So we are getting ready to work on that, so stay tuned for some more videos, and I am prepping those kits right now, so we will be putting together a little bundle of our last year's embroidery holiday kits so that they are out and ready for you guys to stitch. Okay, and this month's embroidery of the month. Get them out of the way. Oh, Kimberly says the Chad Kitty video was fantastic. Ugh, yes, I got to hang out with Chad Kitty all weekend. That was wonderful. He's such a good kitty. The bestest little kitty. So that's my parents' cat. All right, I'm going to get my mat down here. And you know what? I got a couple of these mats. Let's make my ironing surface a bit larger. Maybe this will go a bit faster then. So I'm going to press with the wrong side up, and then I can open these seams right away. So I think I'm going to, just so everything lays a bit flatter, I'm going to press them open. It's a little bit more of a project to do that, but It's good. We'll do it. All right, so the main reason I'm pressing this all now is because I need to cut it to that 55.5 inches, and that's like a pretty precise cut, right? So if I have this pressed, we should be able to do that a little bit better. So I'm pressing, I press that seam allowance one way, and I'm going to just press it the opposite way to make it stand upright, and that'll help me open it up here so it lays flat there. Hi, I'm just checking your comments here. You explain when you so that little square and then cut it off. Oh, yes. So when I'm sewing, you guys may have noticed, let's see, I have a whole basket of them here. But this, I'm using these as my leaders and enders. So what I'm doing basically is on the sewing machine, whenever I start and stop sewing, I am sewing onto a little square of fabric. So a lot of times, here's what people like kind of do. Is I have another one that's just all full of tiny little seams. So just I've just been sewing onto the same piece. The reason to do that is then, first of all, your when you're sewing on your actual piece, you're not jumping from no fabric to fabric. You're on fabric already with that leader piece, that little square, and then the transition from fabric to fabric, that height will be about the same. So so you're sewing like from the same height to the same height. That'll help it like not jump and stuff, the sewing machine, I think. But it also you use less thread because you're not pulling the threads and snipping them every single time you're done with the seam. You're just sewing it onto that little piece of extra fabric. So it preserves your sewing thread a little bit. Like you'll have more left over. And it saves time. It saves the time of like snipping the threads and starting it up again. You can just kind of continue. You just sew onto a square, and then you can just keep sewing, if that makes sort of sense. So a lot of quilters just have that one little spare piece that's just sitting around, and that's what I had tons of little bits on. However, I was like, well, I'm sewing that anyway. Why don't I actually sew actual blocks together? So that's what these are. So instead of sewing over and over and over on the same piece like what I was doing here, instead I just cut out a bunch of fabric and started sewing together pieces. So this is going to actually get me 2 half square triangles. So here's like what a half square triangle looks like. You got, your 2 triangle sides making a square. And I'm going to get actually 2 of these, one on each side. So instead of just kind of wasting a perfectly good sewn straight line on my little scrappy fabric, I'm actually turning it into quilt blocks. And these I'm sewing together to make like a larger quilt block. I actually want to make a quilt coat, like one of those cute, like quilted like gardening coats, basically that you see on the interwebs these days. They're so cute, like a work coat, but it's all quilted. So I'm basically doing that out of scraps and out of borrowed time, basically just time that I would be sewing something else, and just throwing those on the beginning and the end of each seam I sew on other projects. So eventually I'll have enough of those sewn together that it will become a quilt coat, I'm hoping. So that's what that's all about. But quilters use it a lot just to preserve thread, like not have to like have long strands of thread and snip them off every time they sew a little quilt block. Yeah, and I'm just, instead of doing it all on one piece, like a little scrappy piece, I'm just turning it into an opportunity to make something else, make a quilt. Sorry, you guys. I'm watching the TikTok comments. Dude, gotta get way close. Oh, wow, you love all this. Oh, thank you so much for joining. So, we've been doing a lot of embroidery on here the past few weeks, and I'm excited to be doing more, back to some sewing. So, this is actually the tail end of a very long project. We've been working on the Granny Square Quilt, and Granny Squares are like those crocheted Afghan squares. That like fun traditional crochet block, but this is a quilted version, so it mimics the look of a granny square, a crocheted Granny Square quilt. It's a pattern by Lissa Alexander, and I'll have to get the link is in the YouTube description for this. This will go up on YouTube. That has a link to the pattern. And we have that done. We have the whole front done. And we have been sewing up all the scraps from that project for the back of the quilt. And the main color of the front was this teal. And we're going to be using this for our borders. It's so much. This is so much. This is actually my least favorite part, you guys. So pressing all of this fabric, these long borders, and then cutting these borders. It's just so bulky and big, but I don't know, actually this is kind of relaxing right now. But this is always the step that I forget exists, like the idea that, oh yeah, we gotta press everything before cutting it. And so my expectation is like, ooh, I just get to sew some more. That's the fun part. But then reality kicks in and I'm like, oh yeah, we gotta press all this. But it's actually looks so nice and clean after you press. Oh, I should maybe heat this up again a little bit. Untangle myself here. So I'm using this cordless iron too, which I just love. All right. A little tangled. Oh, Gretchen says she has her binding all done for this, and she's ready to hand quilt. Ooh, nice. Oh, Kimberly, you love to iron. Okay, tell me why. I need to know. I need to know why. I think I probably ask this every time I do this, but like, why do you like pressing? I need to know, and then maybe I can hone that a little bit. Figure out a way to like this. I literally think it's my expectations are off. Like I just forget that it's part of the process, and then I get disappointed when I remember that I do have to do it. And in my head, I'm farther along on the project. So that's the expectation that I shouldn't have. Just enjoy the part of the project that I'm on, and let it be that. Oops, I think I pressed a little bit more of a bump in there. Oh, Lynn loves to iron too. Yeah, Amy says, hi everyone, feels like we haven't seen this forever. We haven't. We have not worked on this in a couple months, I think. I think we nixed it last month for some embroidery. Oh yeah, you know what? Last month we were stitching the that free raccoon sampler. Oh, and I put the link to that. It just happened to still be in my description here, so I left it. But the last month, instead of this week working on this, we were working on that raccoon sampler embroidery pattern where we learned all those 14 embroidery stitches. We were doing that last month. So this has been a month out of the circuit here. If you haven't been here before, I try and work on, I have a kind of a schedule for the projects I work on. The first full week of the month, so this month was a little weird because the first week wasn't really a full week. It went with some August there, but the first real full week I work on this project, the Granny Square Quilt, which we're getting there. I mean, we still have to quilt the whole thing, sew all the pieces together, but we have the front done and the back is really getting there. So, gosh, will we finish it this year yet? I don't know. We got all that quilting to do. But anyway, the first full week, we work on the Granny Square Quilt. The second full week is another long-term project that we've been working on, which is the Splendid Sampler 2 quilt, and that's a great learning quilt. We've done all sorts of different styles and types of quilting there. We're almost done. We're to the end. And then the third week is when we stitch the embroidery of the month. So I'm looking forward to that. We have those cute scaredy cat, that scaredy cat design, like those vintage Halloween cats. That's the design this month. I'm stoked. That's gonna be fun. And then the fourth week, this year, we're leaving it free and open. So we've been doing some embroidery. We've been doing some other projects that we've had that we're just been trying to finish. So we've been kind of working our way through those. All right, you guys, we have ourselves, I guess, pressed good enough piece here. All right, now we gotta cut. We are cutting to the 55.5 inches. Wonder what the best way to do that is. I wonder if I fold this in half, and then I can cut 2 layers. What I really should do is fold it into 4s and cut them all at once. That would be amazing. Do I think I can do that though? I don't know. Is this piece for the back? Yes, Becky, this is gonna be for the border. We have all the back pieces. Cut, but we're going to do this kind of patchwork diamond with them, and we haven't sewn the diamond. But it looks like I'm just, based on my instructions and what I had left in my bin here, my note to self from a couple months ago, I have the project tracker to help me with that, and I'll update it, at the end of the week when I need to know where we left off again. But so far it's been helpful. I had notes to finish sewing this, so we just did that, and now I'm prepping the pieces. But I did peek, and I didn't have any of these sewn together. So it sounds like, according to my notes and what I got left, that we are just kind of prepping all our pieces. So all of our inside back pieces are done, like the main area of the back, and then it looks like we are prepping our borders. And to do this, we've made just a really, really long piece of fabric. This may not have been the best way to do it, but we're doing it. Like a huge piece of fabric, and then we are going to cut them to 55.5 inches. So that must be the size that we're going for the back of this quilt. Each may barely, 55.5 inches each. So we need 4. May just barely have enough. That's the part I'm scared of. I have a note to self that I might just barely have enough to make the 55.5 inches. So let's just kind of, I'm gonna spread this out. Let's see what this kind of looks like as far as being able to handle it all. I still kind of want to maybe fold it into quarters and just do it that way right away, but it's so big. Like, we're going to have to probably fold it. So I don't have a huge cutting mat. Ugh. But wouldn't it be awesome to cut this all at once? We do want this to be rather precise, though, is the problem, too. Let's just go with this idea, this thought for a sec here. So if I fold this into quarters right away, I'm just going to kind of shush it out by me here. You know what? Let's help ourselves out here. I'm gonna clip these ends together. Then when I kind of maneuver them a little bit, they won't come apart. Let's do that, because it would be awesome to just cut all 4 pieces at the same time. So I may have to fold it in half to measure. So let's see, let's do some math. If I fold it in half, Oh my God, people help me. What is 55 and a half divided by 2? We're going to have a 0.75 in there somewhere, I think. So let's see. If I took 54 inches, because then I'd be left with 1.5, and that would be 0.75. So I'll add 0.75 to the end of 54 inches. So what's 54 divided by 2, you guys? 27, right? 27, 14. Okay, 27.75 inches. Does that sound good? 27.75? That sounds like real math, right? That sounds like fast math, man. That's faster math than I should be able to do this late at night. All right. So theoretically, if I cut one of these edges nicely and then folded this on the 27.5-inch line, which I don't think this is big enough for. It's not. I have 24 inches on this. What should we do? I could just kind of measure off a little bit. I might just do that. All right, you guys, let's just get crazy here. I am gonna just wing this. I'm gonna cut it in half. Okay, 27.75. Okay, great, Amy. I will. I think I kept saying 27 and a half, and I meant 27.75. So good. I need that up there on the screen so I can read it off. Okay, so I think, let's see how close we are actually. So because I know this folded edge isn't great, I'm gonna have to cut that off. I do have a large, super duper big ruler, so that'll be helpful. Okay, super duper big, large ruler. Let's see how close we are. Get all of our stuffs out of the way. Oh dang! So we have maybe like a 1.5 inch leeway on all of this, but that's a little bit more than I was thinking. So, what do we think? Do we trim our trim like an edge? Oops! Just trim so we have a nice clean edge here. The trick is I can have that off the edge a little bit and then mark my 27.5, but I need a nice good fold on this side. So here's what I think I'm gonna do. I'm still gonna go with it like this, even though this might be a little messy way of doing this. I really should do these all individually, but I just can't deal with that. That just kills me. So I'm gonna move these over a bit, just so I have room to cut. We're going to get my other skinnier ruler. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to lay this big long piece on a straight edge of my cutting mat here. And then I'm going to go off the edge a little bit here. And I'm going to attempt to fold this in half. I'm going to have to get the edge or the fold bit kind of cleaned up. Actually, I might just move it over 27.5 inches and then cut the other edge nicely. I think we're going to do that. Okay, so I'm not going to fold this in half. I'm going to cut a nice edge, then keep moving it over until I have the 55.5 inches. Let's just do that. Kimberly asks, are you making the borders the same length? Two sides are typically longer. They're going to be the same length because this is a square quilt. So, oh, and they have corners too. So let's just, oops, drop my scissors. So this is the deal. It's going to be these long pieces here. I'm going to have corners here as well. So that's why one's not longer than the other. They're all going to be the same length, and then I will sew corners onto a few of them, and then that will be the deal. Just check in comments. Hello everyone. All right. Let's do it. Let's do it. I think I'm just going to trim a nice edge over here, and then I'm going to take my long ruler. Actually, I might just go like, here's 20 inches, scooch it over, here's 20 more inches, and then here's another 15 and a half. I think we might just do it that way. And if we get close enough with this, I'm living with that. So the end, I think we actually might not even need the super long ruler. So let's just do it. Again, this would be probably way more accurate if I did them each individually, but I hate dealing with long pieces like this, so screw it. Okay, getting my cutting glove and my rotary cutter and ruler. So this edge is looking fine. And I do have those clips to just hold this together a little bit better for me, since I am being a little crazy here. And you know what? I'm using the freaking the mat as my ruler. I know that's, in quilting land, that's kind of a no-no, because sometimes mats aren't very accurate as far as inches and stuff, but I don't know. Is that an old wives' tale, or is that like for real? Because this is looking accurate enough for me. All right, so let's just give this a go. I think I'm going to actually now mark exactly on the 20-inch mark, even though I can't quite see it here, which is annoying. This is a wacky way of doing this, but it's my plan. And the 20-inch mark here, so right to the left of this, right, this left edge is 20 inches. Okay, let's scooch that over. This is 20 inches. We are getting this done in the wackiest way. All right, so I'm putting that on my edge here. Oh, goodness. Let's fold this out. These are going to be the most perfect borders ever, right? I think this is actually going to work just fine. Let's smooth this all out. I'm not mitering the corners. I am just, I'm putting, I'm having those leftover squares. I think they're 12 inches, 12-inch squares. That'll be the rest of the back of my quilt. So this is not a border for the front of the quilt. That's all done. This is just going to be that back of the quilt. All right, so I'm going to measure another 20 inches. 20 inches just for math being easy. So here's another 20 here. So we're up to 40 inches. Let's get this under 20. I mean, these aren't perfectly on the line, but it's going to be close enough. We're going to deal with however this ends up. Okay, that's another 20. So we're at 40 inches now, so we need 55 and a half. Yep, cornerstones, that's what they're going to be. 55, wait, we're at 40, so we need 55 and a half inches. So we need 15 and a half inches left. And we are just kind of barely having enough here. So I'm glad I wrote that note, because otherwise I might not have been, I might have like just willy-nilly cut without knowing that, which would have been a bit scary. Okay, nice and flat. So line that up, that edge. So 15 and a half, let's just count it out. It should be right on the mark here, but let's just count it anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and a half. I don't know why I do that. I can just look at the measurement, but I have to count it out. It's just, I don't know. We are going to have a tiny bit left here. Here we go. This is going to be our 55 and a half inches. Are you someplace that is experiencing storms? Oh, no, we're good here today. Hopefully, yeah, if you guys are having a bad connection, try going out and coming back in. I know that sounds silly, but it does sometimes help. All right, you guys. I don't see anyone screaming at me that I, like, watch out, you're doing it wrong or something, so that feels good. All right, this is how much fabric we have left from that, so that's not too much. So we were really kind of cutting it close on that, but whew, I feel good. We got that done. So here I'm going to put on my scrap pile. So we should have now our 55 and a half, and again, I'm going on a measurement that we decided last time we worked on this. I didn't look at the instructions again or whatever. I'm trusting past self that we've now caught up to. All right, but we have our 4 border edges here. That's excellent. So I'm going to just kind of, I think, fold these up to get them out of the way. Phew, and now we can actually kind of work on the assembly of this. This is what I really am excited to do. Stack all 4 and cut together, you'll be great. Linda, that's what I did, and I'm hoping it's gonna work out fine. I'm happy with where that ended up. All right, let's get these scrappies out of the way. All right, let's grab the back of this thing again. So we are done with that border piece. So here's what we have left. Okay, what did I just do with the scraps? Threw them on the ground. All right, here are the rest of my scraps. So we have a lot of fabric left over from this project yet. But here we go. Here are the blocks. So we have not laid these out or anything. So I guess we just like see how it works and see how it goes for this. So I'm going to pull all these out. We need to stitch all these together before we do the back, or before we add that border on what we just cut. So let's put everything away. Okay, I have a little bit of instructions here. Okay. ABC. Okay, it says ABC, so ABC is our middle piece. I'm going to have to see. I don't have a code for what this means. Let's see. "12 color, 1 red, 4 white, 12 blue." Okay. The 4, what's the 4? Okay, so we have a middle piece that is our ABC piece. Then we have white around it. Then our sketched ones. Okay. ABC, white, and patchworked ones. So I think I got what's going on here, you guys. I'll clean up here and we will get on it. I am so happy I wrote myself notes. Always the first day getting back into one of these projects is, I think, the most difficult. Just getting back into it, figuring it all out again. But here we go. We have our scrap pieces that we made. This was made from leftover pieces of this block, and then we cut it up, and we kept cutting it up, making a whole pile of random pieces. I'm going to get the camera up higher here too, so you guys can see a little bit more tonight. All right, let's put these aside. Oh gosh, there's zillions of them. Okay, there. And then we have 4 white pieces. And then we have, okay, so this is the ABC, and then we have more of this blue. So what we're attempting to do is make like a big granny square block. So this piece is going to be in the middle. This I would normally do on the floor, but let's see if we can do it here. Maybe I can just kind of fold them in half a little bit. Well, I don't know. This will be the middle piece. We have to lay out our rows. That's what we're doing now. So this is going to have 4 white pieces around it. You know what, you guys? I think I'm going to actually make all of these pieces smaller so I can do this on the table. So let's just fold all of these up into fourths, and then I can still label each row. I think, you know, none of these have to be like right side up or anything. And then we can be a little random with it too, I think, which will be fun. So we're kind of making our mock-up of a quilt here. We've already got the pieces cut. These are all ready to sew. We just need to kind of lay it out. And I'm going on my notes for that. So here's like our first loop. And then let's just kind of grab some of these and see what we get. So I think let's be super duper random with it too. We've been kind of random so far, so that one will go there. I'm gonna just jump around. Let's put that one there. 1, 2. So we're going all the way around this piece here. That guy can go there. And we still have these other pieces. Throw him there. So these are all very similar, so I don't think it matters too much where we put them. Okay, you can go up there, and I know it's looking kind of crazy, but there is a system to this. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we should have 4 more. Yep. Okay, 1, 2. Ooh, that one's fun. That one's cute. 2, 3, 4, and these are all for the border. So I'm going to put these away. They will go with our border piece when those big pieces that we cut today, those will go with the border. So we still have to construct this middle half first. So, and then the rest of these, I know it's still looking kind of crazy. The rest of our blank spots are going to be this blue. So it's gonna kind of look like we got a diamond going here. And you know what? I'm gonna leave it just like this, and I'm gonna start grabbing these to sew together. I'm gonna just leave this here all week. We are gonna finish this front. It's not the front, it's the back of the quilt, but we're making it kind of like a front of a quilt. It's like a second quilt, really. From the scraps of the front of the quilt. And instead of what I'm doing, and usually I would lay this out super big on the floor, and then I'd pick all the little spot, like where everything goes. I'm gonna have to actually move it all over. But we are adapting to my small little space here, and we are gonna just choose all on the table like this. So this is basically a small, messy version of what the final piece will look like minus the border. So those big blue borders that we cut earlier will go around this whole thing. But man, if we could finish this back this week, well, let's see. It's Wednesday already, so at least this middle piece, that would be significant progress on this quilt, I think. Okay, so here we go. This is the general look of the back of this quilt. What would be the easiest way to sew this? I'm thinking we label to start off. So I do have some labels from a past quilt that I noticed sitting here when I was cleaning. So I think let's first label these rows, and then I'll start sewing them together. So this is just numbered 1 through 5. We have 5 rows. And I'm just gonna grab a Wonder Clip to clip those to it. And you know what? I think I'm going to stack all this up now. Stack this all up, and then we'll sew the first part of each row, and then the second parts of those rows, or maybe the ends of those rows. Ooh, I might just get super messy there. Are you doing the red center? Nope, we actually changed the red center because we didn't have enough fabric. We didn't have enough fabric to do that, Gina, so we went with this alphabet circle fabric for the middle instead. So ran out of that red fabric for that. All right, so I am going to kind of stack these back up. Maybe we should just work one row at a time, just because I'm working in a small space and this may get confusing fast. You know what? That's going to dictate how we do this. Let's do one row at a time instead of trying to assemble this all at once. So I am going to just hold these together. Here's row 5 in order from top to bottom. So let's just do it that way. Row 5, you're going to be later. Here's row 4 in order. And again, I just kind of folded these up. I don't have anything like in the direction I necessarily want it to go, but I'm going to let it be a little bit random. We'll do the first row together yet tonight. And I will probably have to wind more bobbins, Kimberly, but so the bobbin is not full, but there is, I did check, and we did have, I think, enough bobbin thread for tonight. But I think we can get through this this week yet, this kind of part of the project, this whole back center area. This is a long ways to go. We made this back like 3 times about and then kept cutting it up. But I think this is going to be the final like cute way for it. So that's row 3. Oop, go back. Row 2. And let's start with row 1 here. I'm going to shimmy it closer to me. I'm going to get these other rows out of the way, and we are going to go 1 row at a time. Maybe not the most efficient way, but the best way I think, based on that I don't have it all laid out somewhere, and I'm working in my small space here. All right, rows for later, right there. Toss you up in the corner. Here's our rows for right now. All right, I'm going to keep my project tracker nearby, but I don't need the cutter anymore. All right, let's open these up. So here's my first piece. I'm going to mark that with the 1 still. Piece 2. So I think I'm going to sew piece 1 to piece 2, and then I'm going to sew piece 4 to piece 5, because then I can take this off the machine and sew piece 3 to it. So how do we want this to lay? Now we can decide. Maybe like so? Let's go like that. All right. So let's start out. We're actually going to sew. I'm excited. All right, let's get to the sewing machine here. I'm going to match up these first 2 pieces. This is where I wanted to get to tonight. I wanted to sew pieces together. All right, here we are. I'm in like full concentration mode. I can't talk and sew tonight. All right, so now instead of using my leader, I can just sew the next pieces. So I'm going to leave piece 3, but I'm going to sew piece 3 and 4, 4 and 5 together, just right at the end of this piece. Ooh, I think this is just all going to work out. So I'm not pinning or anything. I don't think I might, man, maybe I should clip this together when I get here, because this is going to be kind of stretchy, this piece that we've sewn a lot of pieces together. Maybe I should use clips for that. So, all right, I've cut off pieces 1 and 2. Let's get that leader off the top of here. And that one's done. Tossed it in my bin here. Okay, let's open that up. I still have my number 1 marked here. Okay, so this is going to look like just one piece when we're done, which is good. That's what we want, because we want to like get like this diamond look in here. All right, so now this guy will be next. So this is the 3rd piece. And I think I may just add a clip on here so these pieces end up connecting, or end up like at the same spot. So let's just add a couple clips to hold this together. There we go. I think that'll do. All right, sewing that piece. Clip. Get my stiletto to just hold down that seam. Okay, so now I don't have this off the machine yet, but this is my piece 1, 2, and 3, and then 4, 5 I can snip off here. So these will go onto here, but since this is still on the machine, I think I'm going to grab the first 2 parts of my second row here, and we'll sew the first 2 together and then finish up this. So I want this idea of continuous sewing, so I never have to take anything off the machine without sewing something else to it, just for efficiency's sake. So let's just kind of move this for a sec and take a look at row 2. Okay, so the first one is here, and then here's the second piece. So we have one of these fancy pieces already. So we can kind of decide how we want it to go. Maybe like that. I don't know. We're keeping it kind of random, so I think that looks kind of cool. All right, so this is now row 2. Oh, let's keep up my marker here. The rest of row 2, I'm going to just leave on the side here. We'll put it up here. So let's do the first 2 pieces of row 2. And since this is a piece together goofy piece, I'm going to add my clips again. Oh, I have some spares over by the machine already. Boop. And boop. Okay. So again, we're starting the second row just so we can take the first row off of the sewing machine, and then we'll finish the first row. And then I'll show you guys that. And there we go. So I'm going to leave the row 2 part on the machine, and now we're able to snip off that row 1 part. And now we should have piece 1, 2, and 3 of row 1. Oh, that's looking cool. And then 3 and 4. I don't really know which way these went, but it doesn't matter because they're the same. So now we can put those 2 pieces, match them up with our row from before. Let's add the clips on there. Oops, there we go. I don't think I switched cameras. Here you go. I'll show you guys this again. So we now have piece 1, 2, and 3 sewn together, and now I'm sewing the 4 and 5 piece. So this will be our top row of the diamond. So we just have one of these, the like single piece as the top of the diamond. Our next one will have 2 coming down on the side here, our next row. Okay, last seam of row 1. All right, and then to get this off the machine, I'm going to sew the next parts of row 2. So let's just take a look at row 2. Let row 1 be for a sec. So this is piece 1 and 2 of row 2. And then we're going to sew piece 4 and 5. So this is 3. This will go in the middle here. And then we'll have 4 and 5. So let's just see how we want this one to fall. Ooh, this is kind of fun. How about this way? That's kind of cute. All right, so we'll go like this, and then this piece goes on the end. So we're going to do piece 4 and 5 now of row 2. So we'll probably finish up row 2 tomorrow. I know we're getting close to the end here, but I'm feeling great about this. We already have row 1 complete, and we almost have row 2. There's 5 rows total here, so I think we can easily finish the rest of these rows tomorrow, plus start sewing them together. We might have a full kind of piece. We will have to press these before sewing them together. So tomorrow we'll finish these rows, do some pressing, and then maybe start assembling the rows. Dang, we might actually have the back of this quilt done this week yet, even with just like being here for 3 days. Oh, that is so exciting. That means all that's left of the Granny Square Quilt is to assemble it, is to put the pieces together, the front of the quilt, the batting, and the back, and we will have ourselves something that's ready to quilt together. That's great. All right, and here's row 1 completed. All right, so right like so. So it looks like a lot of blue with the colorful piece in the middle there, which is great. So let's just see what it looks like sort of with what we got going on here for row 2. So we got this so far for row 2. So you can see the diamonds starting to happen here. We got the piece on the top, and then here's our other. There we go. So there you can kind of start to see the diamond starting. So all right, let's row 1's done. I'm going to just leave it up there. I still have it labeled, so that's good. And I always label stuff in the upper left-hand corner, so I'm going to know that this is the left side by labeling it in the upper left-hand corner. So when we have to assemble all these later, I'll know what's up and down, basically. So just folding this to get it out of the way for a sec. I do want to sew this on yet tonight, and then we'll have basically all our pieces on the machine, and we'll pick up from there tomorrow. So let's clip this piece together. And yeah, to get this off the machine, we'll be starting row 3. So tomorrow, again, 8:30 p.m. Central, I'll be here again, Central Time. And we will start these next rows. We get to skip all that border making shenanigans we did at the beginning here. trimming our border to size. Although I'm glad that's done. We don't have to do that later. Okay, making sure the seam is kind of flipped over itself there. All right, and I'm going to just leave this on the machine for tomorrow. I may run out of bobbin tomorrow. But I think, well, we'll just have to wind some more. We'll see how it goes. We'll go until we can't anymore. So that's the plan. So here again is row number 1. Got this all done. And then it'll have that blue border on the top too. So that's what this piece will look like. It doesn't look like much now, but this is going to form that diamond shape on the back of the quilt, which will kind of go back to the idea of our granny square, because our granny square had a lot of those diamonds all around it. So, all right, I'm going to just leave everything out here, and it'll be ready to go for tomorrow. So we'll start with the mess tomorrow. That's always fun. All right. Oh, let me just read some of your comments here. Why not just finish this row and start with a fresh one tomorrow? Because I like the idea of having something on the machine always, so instead of like using my little leader piece to take this off the machine and have row 2 done, I'm more excited about starting row 3 to take this off the machine, if that makes sense. So that's why I'm kind of not finishing row 2, just to have 2 rows done. It's because by finishing row 2, it means starting row 3, and then I'll be like in the same pickle of not finishing a row. But yeah, we made progress tonight. I'm really happy about that. Awesome, you guys. So I will be back here again tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And again, keep your eyes out for some more videos coming up of some cute ways to finish your hoop, and we're taking a look back at our holiday embroidery kits from last year, and we are going to be re-releasing those as a new bundle with a bunch of fun extras coming up. So I'll be talking more about that as we go here. So all right, you guys, see you tomorrow. Have a great evening. Good night.